watching our show, The Drive-Thru, over on the Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel. And we're here, like as we said, we're here every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, bringing you picks. And we got our Pick Dogs in the green room here, getting ready to talk and give out some plays. Dana, we got El Ninos, Chris, we got Kevin Thomas, our first timer to the show. And of course, Brian Bittler in today as well. So we're going to get the show underway. And let's go ahead. And I want to bring in Brian. And I'll go head to head here with Brian to open up the show. Brian, how you doing? How did football treat you this weekend?
I gotta say it was a fantastic weekend. Started off perfect sweep Friday, perfect sweep Sunday, but NFL. So I'm ready for tonight. Get back in the winning track.
Absolutely, get back on the track tonight from the NFL. What are your thoughts here? Just news coming across Houston Texans fall to 0-4, and they terminate their head coach Bill O'Brien. Not only as head coach, but general manager, wearing both hats.
Yeah, we had talked about it with the guys on the morning show with Mitch and Rod and Chris, and we discussed who we thought was going to get fired. And Bill O'Brien was my pick. I just think this guy is the general manager and the coach, and they haven't performed up to expectations for years. And just look at some of the moves he's made recently. So. And
your thoughts here on what we saw in the NFL? Of course, the Cowboys' troubles in trying to score.
Miami
loses at home. Seattle flies that long trip from Pacific Northwest, the humidity and heat of Miami, get the win against the Dolphins.
For me personally, I mean, my favorite game that was a win was the Cleveland Browns. Really thought they performed well. I think they could run at will on pretty much any team. And then the Detroit Lions did not perform up to my expectations, really. I had the Lions in that game, and the Saints just took it to them. The Lions really didn't have a shot in that one.
You know, college football, of course, Texas A&M still just can't get to Alabama. Alabama with the win. Of course, we saw Mississippi State go down, and it didn't surprise me one bit. If you followed Washington State, they've lost to a lot of teams below their caliber.
I'll tell you some really awesome games on Saturday. I enjoyed watching Georgia kick Auburn's asses, for lack of a better word, and Iowa State showing tons of heart, upsetting Oklahoma at home. Really enjoyed the college football weekend.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend from college football. Guys, at the drive-thru, we got a lot of picks coming. Both NFL Monday Night Football picks we'll have. We'll also have some baseball as well. And we'll go ahead and get started here with Brian Bittler. And Brian, you're going to be taking a look here at this Chiefs and Patriots game. And, of course, the line has been going up this afternoon, this past couple hours. Now up to 12 in some places, 11.5. Total sits here at 48.5. And, of course, Brian Hoyer gets the start in this one. But, you know, KC, they do give up a lot of yardage on the ground, 5.3 yards a carry. But, of course, KC without, or should say, New England out with Sony Michel out in this one. They do have Burkhead back there. But how do you see this one with Chiefs a huge favorite?
I really think the public is overreacting to Cam Newton being out. Let's not forget the Hall of Fame head coach on the New England sideline. I really don't think that – I think that he's going to come up with a game plan to keep the Patriots in the game. At least, you know, the number I got was 11. And I think as long as you can get 10.5 in this game, you're going to be good. I just don't see the Patriots getting embarrassed. Chiefs are coming off of a huge win against the Ravens. The Chiefs have also been known to fall asleep during a game. Let's look to see what they did against the Chargers, where they barely got that win in overtime. For me, it's the Patriots here. I'm taking the going against the public here. I think the Patriots can cover as long as you can get the 10.5. Also, look for Rex Burkhead to score the first touchdown on that prop. You're getting 10-1 on your money.
All right, Brian Bittler says go ahead and take the big underdog in this one. Of course, looking at Belichick here, you know, Hoyer, you know, is the backup quarterback, but he's been around New England system for some time.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to have a crappy backup starting, he's the guy that you're one because he's been in Belichick's offense for many years. He has experience as a starting quarterback. Might not be a top-line talent, but, you know, Cam Newton got basically run out of Carolina, and he's been on a downward trend of his career. And, you know, for me, I don't know if it's worth 4X. The line was 7 before Newton got hurt. Now it's up to 11 or so. So for me, it's not a 4-point injury.
No, it doesn't look that way. And of course, you know, you're looking at the Patriots here. You know, it would have been a short week for KC, so they get the extra day of rest here after their game against the Ravens.
I think that'll be a benefit to them, definitely. You know, that was one of I had locked in on the Patriots +7 before the Cam Newton injury. or the Cam Newton COVID.
All
But
right.
for me, I think I'm even getting more value because I really like Belichick in spots where he's up against the wall.
All right, and we see over at Pick Dogs Premium as we hit the bottom of the hour. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs?
I'll tell you what, 10-2 in my last 12 games, absolutely killing it in football. Get my NFL golden ticket tonight, $29.95, pickdogs.com premium pick section. If you just don't want one game, get 7 days for $149.95.
All right, guys, so check out Brian Bittler over at Pig Dogs Premium. Pick up his premium plays right now over at the site. Brian, I want to get your thoughts here in a discussion here with this Lakers Heat adjusted series price, as looks like we are getting somebody into the show here, so we'll continue on. I see here that the Lakers are, drop the game here. A lot of turnovers. They did not look good in that defeat. But looking at the adjusted series price with the Heat and the Lakers minus 1,000. The Heat bringing back plus 660 on the adjusted series price.
Yeah, boy, I like the Heat before this series even started, but seeing what the Lakers did to them in the first 2 games, I don't know about the Heat winning the series, but I would take a look at the Heat in Game 4. I really think the refs are going to be making every call possible against the Lakers to get this series to get more games out of this series.
Yeah, that seems that may be the case there as we're looking here at the more games coming out, trying to extend this to 7 games. But one thing with LeBron James and company, you didn't think it'd be a sweep, but the turnovers they got to clean that up. And of course, they got points on the Lakers defense. 114 was quite a bit, and actually it kind of either pushed the total or went over depending when you played it.
I'll tell you, Spoelstra definitely, I think, changed up the game plan. And if I could pick any head coach, it'd be him. And I think he's going to come up with a winning formula to get this Heat competitive in the next game. And definitely a team that you got to take a look at if you want a nice cover.
All right, this is Brian Bittler here. Join us on the drive-through. Brian, I want to get your thoughts here. Houston now with a 6-5 lead over Oakland as it's hot weather in LA. I mean, it's got to be close to triple digits. We saw a lot of home runs hit. The balls are flying off these bats here. Your thoughts so far, what we've seen?
Ooh, I got to say I'm disappointed because I have Oakland in this game as my first premium pick of the day. And I've been watching them all day. They've been winning. So now you're telling me they're losing. It's kind of a punch to the gut. But you know what? This game has to go 9 innings. So I'm going to keep the faith. I think Oakland can come back.
Yeah, it looks that way. Maybe they'll be able to make a rally, a comeback here. We're seeing a lot of offense so far in Game 1 of the ALDS. All right, Brian, as always, great having your show. Have a great night, and we'll be watching and listening to you tomorrow morning on the morning show with Mitch and company at 10:30 a.m. Eastern.
Also, I'll be back with you on Friday, so take it easy this week.
All right, we'll do. Our buddy Brian Bittler here on the drive-thru. All right, guys, we have a lot more picks coming. We still have the pick from the Packers-Falcons. We have some more baseball picks as well as some college football as we continue here on the drive-thru. All right, let's keep the picks coming, and we're going to welcome to the show for the first time. You see him over at the Pig Dogs Premium site, and that's Kevin Thomas as we welcome him to the drive-thru show. Kevin, how you doing tonight?
Good, thank you, Tony. How you doing?
I can't complain. Of course, we see you over there at the Pig Dogs Premium. Why don't you give people a little background about you, how you got into this racket?
Oh, it first started as just an email business. Me and your last host, Brian Bittler, we've known each other for a long time, and we started with a line of Vegas website email business. But before that, it was basically just doing the bookies. You know, my dad worked at a company where he was bringing home the white tickets. I started doing those, winning, realized I had a good knack at just picking them. So then I learned more about the statistics and reading the lines and stuff like that, and just became a good career. But I also have a background in like therapy, so I've been around a lot of sports people my whole life. So I still keep in touch with some of them, and doing coaching at night with girls. A couple of the coaches in girls softball are actually ex-players, minor, major leaguers. So I keep in touch with a lot of those guys too, and just pick their brain, and that's how I've been doing it.
All right, very good, very good. And of course, we're going to look here, Kevin Thomas here at this Monday Night Football between the Packers and Falcons. It will start about 9 Eastern time. Now, we've seen some line movement here. We saw Green Bay at 7, and now we're seeing the line dip down to 6, 5 in some places. Total sits here at 56.5. And of course, when you look at a team like the Falcons, a desperate team. It's been the Green Bay off to a really hot start. Packers, they'll putting up some points, 41 per game. Looks like one of the receivers is going to be out. They are running the football at 5.5 yards a carry. Of course, this Atlanta team, good offense, bad defense, so it kind of attributes to some high-scoring games. How do you see this one?
61% of all the games so far have gone over, and that's rare, and it'll eventually, come to an end. But I can see lots of points in this. Devontae Adams out. Green Bay might lean more towards the run a little bit. But you got to remember, LaFleur and Quinn have a history together. He was the quarterback's coach for the Falcons when Quinn is the coach. I actually think he should have been fired before O'Brien, but that's another story. So I can't see the Packers running it up, and I think the Falcons are desperate here, and they got all their guys starting. Ridley, Julio Jones. Last time he played at Lambeau, 8 receptions, 106 yards. I can see that again with the quick passes. Packers like to rush the passer. Their main run stopper that they signed, Kirksey, he's out. So I could see this going to be a close one. My only fear, I like saying this name, but Young Ho Koo, the kicker for the Falcons, is out. And the guy's a stud. So I could see that 5 might be a little low. I got 7. If you can get to 6, 6.5, great. But that's what I say. I'm taking. All right. I got the Falcons +7.
He likes the Falcons here at plus the points. All right, Kevin. Of course, Atlanta, you're always worried about that defense, that secondary. Are you a little nervous there with Rodgers going up against that secondary of Atlanta?
I'm not worried at all because I know the Falcons will match scores, and I don't think the Packers. Now that Devontae Adams is out and Lazard was already ruled out, I mean, there's really no one else. Aaron Jones can catch the ball as a running back, but I just think Ridley, Julio Jones is just going to be way too much. It could be an upset here. I don't want to say that as a huge Packers fan, but safe bet is taking the Falcons plus the points. I think that's an easy win. I'm not really worried about the Packers or the Falcons defense being that bad. Actually, they got 2 guys coming back, Schofield, good cornerback, and Grady, the defensive tackle. So I think that might be able to help a little bit out there too.
All right, Kevin Thomas is here on the underdog here with the Atlanta Falcons. All right, Kevin, we see you over at Pig Dogs as we hit the bottom of the hour. What do you have going on over at Pig Dogs Premium side?
I was 3-1 yesterday in NFL, and I have a top pick on the total tonight on that game, and I also have a pick on the Patriots total as well on Pig Dogs.
All right, so check out Kevin Thomas over at Pig Dogs Premium, and of course you want to pick up one of his long-term packages as we get into football. You want to get him throughout the season. All right, Kevin, I'm going to keep you here. I want to get a game discussion with you with these Yankees and Rays series price, and as we're seeing here, we've got the Yankees $1.33, Rays at plus 113. A little difference here is you got to go with your starters in these series because there's no days off in between. So that means the bullpens will you're going to right to the bullpens. You're not going to see these starters, these 4 and 5 starters going in early in some of these games. It's going to be, your bullpen. So looking at this at a series, how do you see it?
I like Tampa Bay. I mean, last year they were one of the first teams to start doing the pitchers by committee, and it was successful for them. And they've been hitting the ball well. I mean, the Yankees by far are probably the best hitting team in the AL, but for a series, I like Tampa Bay to take this series. And I think Game 1 is the big game right there that sets the tone for the whole series.
All right, Kevin Thomas coming in here, looking at Tampa Bay in the series. It's really hard to argue that. I mean, the way they've looked this year, and of course the Yankee pitching has always has been a little bit of a question mark. Again, you're going to have to use at least 4, maybe 5 starters in the way it sets up. You're playing 5 games in 5 days.
Hap's horrible. If he's even going to be one of the starters, it's horrible.
Yeah, that's going to be a real tough spot for them. All right, Kevin, as always, welcome to the show, and hope everything runs well with you this week. And guys, look him up over at Pig Dogs Premium. That's Kevin Thomas. He'll put you on some winners in football, baseball, and all the other plays that he posts up there. College football as well. All right, Kev, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys. See you next week, Tony.
All right, everybody. Kevin Thomas here on the drive-through. All right, guys, we got a lot more coming up. We got both of the Monday Night Football games for you. We still have some baseball coming up. We are now going to look at Chris Ruffalo. We'll bring him on now on our drive-through show. Chris, how are things going for you today?
Tony, I'm doing well. I just got all my Monday Night Football picks in, and I'm ready to win some cash. And I'll tell you, we're gonna do it big tonight. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. Chris is ready to go with his with football. Of course, you're looking here at baseball. It's the Braves and the Marlins, and you're going to be looking here at Game 1. We know we got a pretty good pitching matchup in Game number 1 between Fried Alcantara going for this Miami Marlins team. And I was really, when you look at Miami, they got young pitchers. They bring a lot of heat. They hit their spots. But Max Fried's had a pretty good series, and I think we're looking here at Atlanta favored almost $2 total take back on Miami, but plus 180.
Yeah, this series, I think, to tell you the truth, it's going to be an absolute war between two young, up-and-coming teams. I mean, you can argue that Atlanta's already there, but I mean, it's like I've said before, show of hands who had the Marlins making the postseason this late in the season. I could maybe only see a couple out of 100, and they're probably backed out of Miami anyways. But, Sandy Alcantara has been a real revelation for this rotation for the Marlins this year. The funny thing is, the majority of his best works come on the road, so this is where this kind of neutral bubble environment, without having a pseudo home field, is going to pay dividends for a guy like Alcantara, who has a 1.80 ERA on the road this season with a 2-0 record. And you go back to, I was watching that game too of the Marlins and Cubs, and the Marlins had that shirt up in the corner of the dugout that said bottom feeders, back from when a Philly beat writer or so had said it earlier in the season, and said, you can't afford to lose games to bottom feeders like the Marlins. And that's the kind of chip that's stuck on their shoulder through 60 games and gotten them into a playoff spot, and it's stuck with them. And I've said it before, the Marlins are playing with house money at this point. They've got nothing to lose. They can play loose because nobody expected them to be here. Atlanta, this is their first year where they're trying to make it out of the AL or the NLDS, for the first time since all these recurring playoff spots have occurred. And you start to wonder if the pressure is going to get to be too much. I love Max Fried. I think he's a phenomenal pitcher. But as far as Game 1 goes, you have to look at all the value with the Marlins here at plus 170. I'm seeing it plus 180 in some spots. It's Miami's shown no fear up to this point, and I think they're comfortable with the Braves. They know what they're expecting. They know what to expect from a guy like Fried, and they've seen this lineup before. I think this series is going to be a battle, and I think Miami has a good shot at Game 1.
Yeah, looking at Game 1 here with joined here by Brian Ruffalo as we take a look here at the Braves and Marlins. How do you see it here? Of course, this 5-game in 5 days situation now as you get deeper into these rotations, Atlanta and Marlins. We're looking here at a series price between these two. Let me bring this up. And we're seeing here that the Braves are minus 283, take back on the Marlins plus 238. Now you're going to get into pitching depth. How do you see this one?
Again, I mean, side by side, if you're going to give me plus 238 in a 5-game series, when you have two solid starters going out of the gate, like you have Sixto Sanchez and you have Alcantara going for Miami, you're going to have Max Fried, who's going to give Atlanta a really good shot to win in Game 1. And after that, it's Ian Anderson, who pitched well in a small sample size this season, but he's also a rookie. So you never know how much this playoff atmosphere is going to play into a guy like that. And if you go further down the rotation, okay, I think Pablo Lopez can definitely get beat up by Atlanta. We've seen it happen. I think there was a 29-9 game earlier this season that Pablo Lopez was involved in. So we know he can get tossed around there. But as far as anything else, I haven't seen anything from Atlanta outside of Max Fried and Ian Anderson that's making me go, okay, this is a world beater. I mean, you lost Cole Hamels, but Cole Hamels was over the hill to begin with. You throw in Tukey Toussaint, who's capable of blowing up anytime he takes the mound. I mean, Miami's pitching depth outside of Sanchez and Alcantara, and the occasional Lopez start isn't great either. I think you got Trevor Rogers coming out as a rookie as well. I think it's going to come up to just who can come down with the clutch hits in those later games. And if Miami is going to win, or you know what, I'll say it for whoever's going to win this series, the key is going to be taking it. If you can take a 2-0 series lead, you are going to be in a fantastic position over the next 3 games. If it goes down to 1-1, watch out. And that's where the fireworks are going to start to fly, because you're going to have these young pitchers, inexperienced pitchers in high-pressure situations, and watch these offenses start to feast, because this is where it's good, where the inexperience is going to start to show, and you could very well see these 8-7, 8-6 kind of games where whoever quote unquote has the last at bat could win this game.
All right, it's Chris Ruffalo here joining us here on the drive-through. Chris, as we passed the bottom of the hour, I saw you've had a really good season this year in the NBA over at Pig Dogs Premium. What do you have going on right now over at Pig Dogs Premium site?
We had the A's go off at the top of the hour, but you know what? I love modifying my packages for the drive-through. So up until the top of the hour tonight, until the drive-through goes off the air, I got Meatball Monday. So you're going to get my top play for the Rays and Yankees game tonight, as well as my top side and total for the Monday Night Football game between the Packers and Falcons. Threw it up there for $25. That's as low as I can put it, guys. So don't miss out on this.
All right, guys. So check out Chris Ruffalo over at Pig Dogs Premium. Pick up that package from him right now. Special that he puts up, and of course you can watch and listen to Chris over on the drive-through morning show. The morning show we call it, with Mitch and Company, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I know you got Brian Bittler on that show.
You see, you bring it up every time, just hoping that I may throw a ding in at Brian here and there. You know what? It's honestly, we have a good time. No, I enjoy shooting the breeze with the guys every morning. Sometimes I apparently, and I haven't looked at the comments to see if there's any of our morning show regulars in there. Apparently, I looked stoned every morning. That could just be me. I'm telling you guys, it's the glasses. I can't see more than anything 6 feet in front of me right now. So this can be a struggle sometimes. I promise you guys, I'm wide awake. I just have to kind of squint to see what's in front of me. But trust me, I'm up at 9 Eastern every morning, so you don't have to worry about me falling back asleep. If you hear me snoring like a chainsaw, okay, then we'll talk. Then we'll have that discussion. But for right now, I'm good. And I'm ready to go every morning. I'll tell you that.
All right, he is ready to go every morning with Mitch and Company. The morning show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. They'll be on tomorrow. They'll look at the baseball as well as getting that coverage game 4, Heat and Lakers. It's now a 2-1 series. All right, Chris, have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good, Tony. Have a good night.
All right, everybody. Chris Ruffalo here on the drive-thru. All right, guys, don't forget at the end of the show, we're going to recap every pick. We're also going to have. I got an email from Rod Zawacki. He couldn't make the show today, but he does have a pick on the Yankees game. We'll get that to you. Dana Lane is going to chime in with a Thursday pick between Tulane and Houston. We'll have that on our recap. And right now, we've got one of our Pick Dogs handicapper ready to join us, and that's El Ninos. El, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. I know you're not so happy today because we saw the Lakers go down yesterday. Yeah,
that was a tough game to watch. Great game by the Heat. I mean, as a Lakers fan, it was definitely a tough game. I was starting to think the sweep might be possible, even though that's probably pretty unlikely in an NBA Finals. But I think it was. I just thought the Heat were a bit outmatched there. I mean, I'm not saying that the Lakers would cover every time. I had the over in that game. I actually lost by the hook. But yeah. Tough game. On to the next one. Again, I think the Lakers bounce right back, whether they cover or not. It's a pretty good number, I think the bookies set right there, and I'll take a good look at it after the show.
Absolutely. All right, Al, before we get into that discussion, I want to get your thoughts here on this Padres and Dodgers series that begins tomorrow. Right now, LA Dodgers series price, their favorites here at -265. Take back on the Padres here at plus 225. Of course, the Padres bats have gotten hot, but of course, the big question mark is the health of the Padres pitchers.
Yeah, that's a huge line. But yeah, obviously the Dodgers have a huge pitching advantage in that matchup, but two very good offenses going at it. So you never know when the Padres could get hot off any pitcher really at any time. But again, I think this is obviously not a play. I would never give out a minus 200 plus whatever it is. But obviously think the Dodgers in a pretty good spot thanks to their pitching advantage in that series. But yeah, again, tough line, and we'll have to see what the run line's at, I guess. But I don't know. Might not be even worth a play if it's that high. But what did you say the line was again? Sorry, I wasn't seeing it on my book.
Yeah, I see the series. This is the series odds to win the series. It's
okay.
Dodgers minus 265, Padres plus 225 to win the best of 5 series.
Yeah, I didn't think the Dodgers come out this big a favorite. Yeah, okay. So yeah, again, I think that may be a little juicy. Obviously, I wouldn't take. I don't do many series. Obviously, might be a little bit of value on the Padres if you do think they can beat that pitching edge and pull off the upset. But again, I'm rooting for my Dodgers, and I think they got this series thanks to that pitching advantage.
Yeah, you got Buehler and Kershaw, and then after that, then you got to pray a little bit because you're going to have Julio Urias and then Alex Wood. You got Dustin May. So there are some quality there, but again, some of these pitchers have to go deep in game 1 and 2. Buehler's got the blister issues. You can't bring Urias in. You can't bring in Dustin May in as bullpen help because these guys got to pitch in this series.
Yeah, I like these young pitchers a lot. Obviously, May is probably at the top of my list, but Gonsolin's had a great season too. And Urias isn't as bad as some people try to make him sound, but he's had some rough outings. But anyway, again.
Is that Mitch commenting right? Oh wait, I'm just joking.
They do have to be careful with their pitchers and use them wisely, obviously, because you don't want to slip up against this lineup.
Yeah, that's right. You definitely don't want that to slip up in that lineup. All right. So the Padres side, you got the pitchers there. You've got Garrett Richards. You got you've got the pitcher here. But Padres really pretty much have been undecided beyond Buehler. I mean, they're not really showing their cards here.
You mean the Dodgers or
the Padres? The Padres.
Okay, because you said Buehler. I'm seeing Davis tomorrow, but interesting to see how their injuries are gonna pan out during the series. But if those two, the Clevenger and Lamet can't go, then I think again, as I said, I think the Dodgers have that big pitching advantage.
Yeah, it looks like they have the pitching advantage, no doubt about that. So that's something to keep an eye on. They will have to announce those their roster here, and we'll see if they keep any of those two off. Of course, I'm joined here by Al. Al, you've got a play today. We're looking here at the A's and Astros game 2. It's what you'll be looking at. It's Manet and Framber Valdez, two lefties going at it. And we're seeing here about $1.10 on both sides of this game. And I wanted to get a total because out here in LA, it's hot, man. It's almost triple digits out here. We're seeing this ball fly out. It was out 8-5 Houston here in the top of the 7th inning. So we've got the total sitting here at 8.5.
Yeah, I really like this over today. I'm obviously disappointed I didn't give it out, but that's easy to say now. But definitely look at it for tomorrow, and we got an even better pitching matchup for this total to go over tomorrow. And it's still set at 8.5. It is a little bit juiced. I see it at minus 115 for the 8.5, but I think it's well worth it. I think this game goes way over again. I mean, there's two very good offenses, and as I said, not these teams' best pitchers. Valdez has had a pretty good season, but I mean, again, this Oakland team's hitting the ball really well right now. So I really like the over in this game a lot.
All right, Al Nino
might end up being a premium play, but yeah.
It may be, says Al Nino, says we're seeing a lot of runs scored here. 13 runs so far. There's still another 3 innings to go here as Houston's still threatening runner on base. An out here, an 8-5 lead over Oakland as we've seen the lead zigzag back and forth between these two teams. All right, Al, as we approach the top of the hour, we see you're doing really good numbers in NFL and college football. What do you have going on over right now at Pick Dogs Premium?
Yeah, I have play on the side and total of each NFL game, as well as a play on the Yankees-Rays game, which I don't really usually put stuff up, but it should be a great matchup, and had a hard time putting that up on there because I usually stick to my teams. But yeah, put it up for you guys, a little decoration, and I think it should be a great game again. So yeah, I got 4 NFL plays and 1 MLB. And I do have my Thursday night football game, which I suggest you check out sooner rather than later, too.
All right. Check out El Nino's over at Pig Dogs Premium. He's doing very well in football. He's also a really good handicapper in Major League Baseball. Al, as always, great having your show. Have a great night, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks again for having me. We will see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Our buddy El Nino's here on Drive Thru. Guys, we're here Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, a lot of picks on our show. And, of course, don't forget the morning show at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow with Mitch and Company. All right, now it's time for my pick. And let's go ahead here and go to college football. We've got the Florida and Texas A&M game that I wanted to look at. And I'm going to go ahead and take the points here with Texas A&M at +7. You know, A&M looks to rebound after that loss to Alabama, but this is an experienced football team. 9 starters back on defense, 8 to the offense. They do have a senior quarterback in Kellen Mond. He's aided by a run game that's averaging 5.2 yards a carry. And Texas A&M, they are doing a good job of defending the run. Florida does step up in class here with wins against South Carolina and Ole Miss. But the Gators' defense is where I'm concerned about. They're allowing 471 yards, 327 through the air. We know that Mond is an experienced quarterback. I'm going to go ahead and take the points here with Texas A&M at +7. All right, guys, this was our show, The Drive-Thru. We wanted to make sure we got the show done in time for you guys to catch that Monday Night Football game. But before we get there, let's go ahead and go over the picks from our cappers today. And we also some cappers who weren't on the air. We were able to field it from some plays. And we started the show off with Brian Bittler. He said, take the Patriots +11.5 against the Chiefs. Then, of course, Kevin Thomas made his debut on the Drive-Thru, said take the Falcons at +6 against the Packers. Dana's pick today, he had a Thursday night football game. He says take Tulane Greenway +7 against Houston Cougars. Chris Ruffalo was on the dog. Marlins +180 against the Atlanta Braves. Rod Zawacki, he came in, he wanted to get a pick on the show for you guys. He says take the Yankees -142 against the Rays. He's jonesing for game 2. So he says game 2, it's going to go over like in game 1. Take Athletics and Astros to go over total 8.5 runs. And yours truly says take Texas A&M +7 against the Florida Gators. All right, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank all the cappers who joined me today. And don't forget, tomorrow we come right back at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with the Drive-Thru. We'll have baseball coverage as well, looking at some football. And, of course, we'll have the NBA. We'll have a pick from that Heat and Lakers game number 4 series to see if we got a series. Now we'll find out tomorrow. And, of course, let's bring in the pick dogs. We'll wave you guys all goodbye. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 6.